I'll use these terms. Nature is exceedingly efficient. It will never use more than it needs to accomplish something. Do you follow that idea? Yes. Very efficient. Do you in any way, shape, or form understand the quest of many of your scientists to find a unified field theory that explains all the different phenomena that you perceive with one basic equation? You understand that idea generally? Yes. That it can be rendered down to one thing that expresses itself as many different things? Mm-hmm. All right. Well, nature, being very efficient, also renders down the idea of space and time into the most basic components it can. In order to create the idea, the effect you call physical reality, it will only use the exact minimum thing it needs to create that effect. So instead of actually having to create many locations and many different moments, the question is, can existence create the effect, the experience of many different moments by just using one moment, or many different places by just using one place? The answer is yes, it can. So the idea is, there is only one moment. There is only one moment, and we call it now. There is only one place, and we call it here. The idea of the outside projection is an illusion. Does that make sense? It's happening in your consciousness. There's nothing really out there. Even your physicists understand that. What appears to be solid matter is just a fluctuational reflection of energy. Do you understand that?
Yes.
All right. Now, if you understand that time itself can be reduced to a single moment, then the fact that you experience many different moments means that all those moments actually have to be happening at the same time. But that you only perceive the same moment from another perspective, and that's what makes it seem as if there's another moment. But it's just a shifting of your point of view of the same moment. It's like looking at the other side of it and going, well, this must be another moment. And this must be another moment. And this must be another moment. But it's not. It's the same moment from different points of view. So the idea of parallel realities is just a stretched extension of that idea. Everything is happening here and now. Everything is overlapping. Just like all the different television programs really all exist all at once in your TV set, but you don't perceive the different program until you change the channel because you're switching frequencies. So likewise, all the different realities that you call past, present, future, parallel realities, alternate realities, physical, non-physical, whatever you want to call those experiences, are all overlapping, but they're separated by the difference in their frequency. That's all. That's all. But nature is so efficient, it can use the single place and the single moment in which to create all those different frequencies. But when you start experiencing that single moment from what you call a space-time perspective, or you want to have that experience, then it seems to stretch all that out to fill space and fill time so that you get this sense of dimensionality and the sense of change. Is this helping?
Yes. So what are some signs that you can tell you can see that you're shifting?
You're shifting all the time.
But how
it's
can
just
you
that
tell?
You shift so frequently, every second, billions of times. Literally, specifically, you shift 10 to the 43rd power times per second. You understand how small an increment that is?
Okay. Yes, I understand.
All right. I can still give you an example.
Okay.
The increment is so small that there are more of them in a single second than all the seconds that have existed since the beginning of your universe. Do you understand?
Wow. Yeah.
So, in that tick of the clock, so to speak, everything actually exists in that one tick. But looking at it from a physical space-time perspective makes it seem like different ticks. Now, it's obviously going so fast and so smooth that it's beyond the threshold of your senses. In the same way that when you take a strip of film and run it through one of your projectors to see a movie, the idea is that if the film doesn't go at least 24 frames a second, you're not going to see what looks like smooth motion on the screen. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So the film has to go fast enough that you don't notice the shift. It doesn't jar you to go from one frame to another. You just accept it as smooth changes, smooth motion over time.
Okay.
But when you start accelerating yourself, you start getting closer to matching the frequency at which the idea of the tick of the clock actually happens, and you can start experiencing more awareness of the differences between the frames. You can break the continuity. You know what a strobe light is?
Yes.
Have you ever used a strobe light to freeze a stream of water?
No, but I've seen
Yes?
stuff done similar to it.
All right, so it's a similar idea. If you turn on your tap and there's a stream of water, you see it as an unbroken stream.
Mm-hmm.
But if you start a strobe light in the dark and you illuminate the water stream with flashes and you find the right frequency, suddenly you find that the frequency is only illuminating one small part of that stream to such a degree that that's all you see, and it seems like there is literally a sphere of water hanging in midair, frozen, just floating there, because you've matched the frequency at which the water is falling. So the idea is that when you change the frequency, you can start to match the frequency of reality and start to see things in a different way and experience things in a different way. But this is going on from many different points of view, which you call parallel realities. There is a version of you experiencing this. There is another version of you on another Earth experiencing something slightly different. Another version on another Earth experiencing something even more different. Another version experiencing something that could be very, very different, and on and on and on and on to infinity. Everything that can happen is happening all at once. But from a space-time perspective, you say, well, it's got to be stretched out somehow, so we'll call those parallel realities, even though they're all happening at the same time. Is this helping?
Yes. Thank you. Helping.
Is that clear enough?
Yes. Very clear.
Anything else?
Yes. What civilizations am I most related to?
Sirius, some hybrid civilizations, such as the Yael, some Pleiadian, smattering of Arcturus, and a few other things we won't go into now.
Okay.
Does that help you?
Yes. And one more question. What is my current vibration right now?
143,000 cycles per second.
Okay. Thank you, Bashar.
Thank you.
Shivai.
And to you, Shivai.
Saibo
Yes.
is a friend of mine. And when he introduced himself to me,
Yes.
he was in sort of disguised himself, and I understand that.
He's very mischievous.
Why was he wearing all red?
The vibration itself was a clue to go to a certain level within yourself and build up from there. So take a look at something on a certain frequency level in order to use it as a foundation and build up from there. Does this make sense?
Can you expand on that?
May I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
What do you feel about physical reality?
It's not for the faint of heart.
All right. All right. But by going into the lower vibration, the red vibration, can you develop a deep appreciation for it?
I'm in process of that.
All right.
I know how dark can get.
All right. So by giving you the red frequency, it's an opportunity to understand that without building the foundation of appreciation for physical reality as just another expression of the spirit, nothing on top of that foundation will survive. It will just collapse. The foundation has to be strong. Your relationship to physical reality has to be one that is equivalent to your relationship to the idea of spirit, because physical reality is no less spiritual than non-physical reality. Does this make sense?
I'm on board with that.
All right. Then that's why you were given that vibration.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And?
I just love the ebb and flow of energy between me and you.
As do we. Anything else?
I love you, and I want to express my appreciation.
All right.
For
We
this
love
moment.
you unconditionally as well. Would you like to now flow away?
Okay, I would love to. Okay, until another time, Bashar.
All right. Good day.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
My question is...
Speak up, speak up.
Okay. My
Take full advantage of your technology.
My highest excitement right now is the idea of channeling an ET child to help me finish writing my children's book.
All right, well, go right ahead. What's stopping you?
I've been feeling like I'm open, but
But what?
doesn't feel like it's happening.
It doesn't feel like it's happening. What do you think it's supposed to feel like?
Natural flow and...
So you
in the
do not
writing.
experience any natural flow at all when you sit down to write?
Yes, I am.
Well, then how do you know that's not it? Is it supposed to come with trumpets and fanfare and exploding fireworks? Or is it just going to be the flow that needs to be there, remaining unobtrusive and in the background so as not to interrupt your flow? How do you know you're not being assisted? If you're feeling any flow at all, what makes you think you're not? Is that a good question?
I have felt the flow before.
Yes.
It doesn't seem like it's as flowy now.
Not as flowy. Is there something else you would rather be doing when it's not as flowy? Something else that is more flowy, even though it may appear not to be connected? Are you following the thread of your excitement when it appears in a different form? Or are you insisting it should only come in that form?
No, I feel pretty good about following my excitement.
Well then, when you're not flowing in one way, why not just flow in another? And assume that the flow is connected, even if it doesn't look the same. How about that? Are you doing that?
Yes.
Then why are you asking this question?
Good question.
Thank you. Do you have a good answer?
I'll follow my flow more, my excitement more.
I think you are making this more complicated than it needs to be. You might be overthinking this. Whenever you feel the flow, just flow. Don't stop the process and wonder, well, is that extraterrestrial child really there or not? I'm not sure what I'm supposed to feel. Otherwise, you're stopping the flow. And then the extraterrestrial child is standing there tapping its foot going, when's she going to let me flow with her again? Why does she keep stopping the flow? You understand?
Yeah.
Is this helping?
That's great.
Wonderful. What is your book about?
I realized it was that I wanted ET perspective, child's perspective, to help the children, the earthling children, to better understand
and therefore, what is your
book
about?
It's to be more open to the ET children coming in.
And so you are telling a story that exemplifies this idea? All right. And so, are you having fun?
Yes.
All right. And do you trust that the times that are not as flowy as others are part of the process?
Okay.
Or do you label them as interruptions and obstacles?
I have been, yeah.
Why would you want to do that?
I don't.
Then don't. You never have to feel any kind of writer's block or feel stuck in any way, shape, or form, you know. The idea is that if you have writer's block, write about the writer's block, and then you won't be stuck. Do you understand? And it may take you places you need to go to give you the information you need to then go back to the story with a deeper appreciation of another perspective you may not have had not the flow shifted. It's all part of the process. It only seems like it's not when you start labeling the differences as not being part of the process of your excitement. Do you follow that?
So the ebb and flow is all natural.
Absolutely. Many people, when they talk about the ebb and flow, look at it like this. But really, it's like this, if you want it to be. Where you are always going up, even while you're going up and down. These are natural cycles. It is important for you to keep your feet on the ground, even while your head is in the stars. Therefore, you will always gather information and bring it down to earth. Gather information and bring it down to earth. Gather information and bring it down to earth. That's the ebb and the flow, and it's part of the process. Yes?
Yes.
Does this help?
Yes.
And by the way, that came from a child. Yes?
Thank you. I love you.
Sometimes, all right. Sometimes the child wants me to tell you, sitting down and writing a book sometimes means getting up off your butt.